Hi Beats, it's EKG. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be going over the books I want to read in 2021. So if you would like to see what's on my to-be read list for the year, make sure you just keep on watching. So I have 22 books on my list so far. I'm just gonna go in order. So the first book I have is Animal Crossing, and this is by George Orwell. If you haven't read Animal Crossing, it is basically animals on the farm, and there's like an uprising and what happens when there is unstable leadership. So I was very drawn to this. First off, the cover is beautiful. I love the cover, and it just really seems to be mimicking what's actually going on right now. So yeah, I thought I would read some George Orwell commentary on that. The next book, which is a book that I'm currently reading, and it's a reread for me, is The Terrible by Yrsa Daley-Ward. If you've watched my previous videos, I have mentioned this book countless times. It is a memoir detailing her life, and it is told in such a unique way. That's lyrical prose mixed with poetry, mixed with short stories. So I really love this, and I really suggest it. Definitely check this out by Yrsa Daley-Ward. Up next, I have an OG in literature, and that is Sylvia Plath, and I want to read The Bell Jar. I have no idea what this book is about, coincidentally, which is crazy, but I've been wanting to read Sylvia Plath. She is a legend. Another Sylvia Plath piece that I want to read is her collection of poems, Ariel. And once again, if you know me, I love poetry, and I just have to read Sylvia Plath. Like, there's no excuse why I have not read her yet. And we love a winner of the Pulitzer Prize. So I have to read this collection of poems. I'm sure they will blow me away. Oh my God, it looks like I actually started reading them. Apparently I'm on page 4 of this, or 8. I'm on page 8. I didn't even know that. But I'll start from the beginning again. Sorry if the camera angle changed a little bit, but the next book I want to read is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste and G. And I read Little Fires Everywhere by her, and I loved Little Fires. I think I rated it probably like a 3 out of 5. So it's pretty good to me. But this story really intrigues me. It's about a girl who is dead, and her family doesn't know yet. So sounds interesting. I love a good murder mystery thriller type of ordeal. So if this is what this is about, I'm here for it. So, and if you haven't read Little Fires, what are you doing with your life? It's a good book. Up next, I have a collection of poetry, and that is Sweet Dark by Savannah Brown. Savannah Brown is a YouTuber, I believe, and I mean, just like look at this cover. There's a face there, and it's just like, psh, and I'm into it. I have no idea what this is about, but I came across it on Goodreads. I never read her first collection of poems. Honestly, it didn't really appeal to me, but this one did. And I was reading through the reviews, and I'm low-key impressionable. So if people are telling me that this poetry collection is really good and it's a big difference from her first one, then I want to check it out. Why not? And then I'll just keep on the theme. I'll just stay with the poetry collections for right now. And the next one I want to read is Finna by Nate Marshall. And I know this collection of poems details the Black experience, Black vernacular, AAVE, all of that stuff, and I'm here for it. I don't think I've ever read anything like this, so I'm really intrigued, and I cannot wait to read this one. So I have another poetry collection before I start talking about Zora, Neale, Hurston. And I want to read Life of the Party, which is by Olivia Gatwood. I read her first collection of poetry, I believe her first, called A New American Best Friend. I watched a couple of interviews that Olivia Gatwood did surrounding this poetry collection, and she talks about how she was like obsessed with true crime at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be amazing, and like the cover is stunning too. Another classic, or like something that I regard a classic that I have not read yet, is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. And how have I never read this? I don't know, I'm embarrassed. Modern classics. So this looks good. I have no idea what this is about, honestly. I just want to read it. I actually got this with Animal Farm, and it was both their 75th anniversary. Like, how crazy. Animal Farm and Their Eyes Are Watching God were written in the same year. That's amazing. So I have to read this. So that's it for all of the books that I have physical copies of. Now I'm going to be referencing my list that I have written out here. So the first one on the list that I don't have a physical copy of is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I still have not read, and I think it's behind me, I still have not read The Fire Next Time. I still want to read that as well, but I specifically think I'm going to go with Giovanni's Room to read first, because I think it's an actual story, and I just kind of need a break from reading about the things Black people go through. As a Black person, constantly reading these things are kind of exhausting. Like, I'm craving some escapism. So I could be completely wrong, and Giovanni's Room is also about that. I have no idea, but I just thought I should mention that one by James Baldwin. And up next, a book that I'm dying to read that I just ordered and should be coming in by the end of this month is Writers and Lovers by Lily King. And I've heard amazing things. I watch Noelle Gallagher on BookTube, and she raved about this book. She said it was 5 stars, and I think we have similar reading preferences. So when she talked about that book, and then I read the synopsis, it's about a woman who is in her late 20s who wants to become a writer, and it details her life, and I'm here for it. You know, like, I am also a woman in my 20s who wants to be a writer, so I would love to read that perspective. I think it's going to be very real, not like super gushy romance, which is not a bad thing, but I appreciate like when a story is kind of real. Up next, another book that literally everyone has been suggesting to me is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennet. It's about 2 twin sisters who one leaves home very early and the other one stays, and how like their lives go into different directions. It kind of is giving me like homegoing vibes by Gyasi, but we'll see. I'm excited for that. Another book that is kind of falling into like the self-help genre that I want to read is the Defining Decade by Meg Jay. I've heard great things about this book. She is a psychiatrist or psychologist. She has her PhD, who specializes in quarter-life crises for 20-somethings and how you can get the most out of the most important decade of your life, where you're setting up a lot of the framework for the rest of your life and just getting over the anxieties that go along with being a 20-something, you know? Like, I'm halfway through my 20s almost, and I'm confusion. Like, I just don't understand what's going on. So maybe I should read that book soon. Up next, I have Outlawed by Anna North, and this book is on the Reese Witherspoon book club pick. And I read the synopsis and it sounds so cool. It is a Western novel that has an all-female cast, and that sounds amazing. The main character gets involved with this group of women who are just basically traveling and doing things against the law, which always makes for a good story in my opinion. So I would love to read that. Up next, I have Hood Feminism, and this is by Mikki, Kendall, and I have also heard good things, and I came across it on Goodreads too. It was suggested to me after I read Thick, and Hood Feminism is about feminism through the Black women experience, the Black femme experience, so I am here for that. I think it'll be really interesting and highlights voices that are often or underrepresented in the dialogue of feminism. Up next, I have Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami, and I've never read Murakami. Do I even love literature? Like, I don't know. But if you know me, I love anything that is poetic writing. So I've heard Murakami's descriptions, his prose, his language is just very beautiful and poetic. So I have to read it. Like, I have to. Up next, a book that has been staring into my soul every time I go into a bookstore, and that is Devotions by Mary Oliver. I came across Mary Oliver's work this past year, and I love everything that I read by her. She just speaks to a part of my soul, so I have to read Devotions. I just have to this year. Like, if I don't, I failed. Another exciting book that I actually heard a lot about, and it is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. Hello, I've heard this is amazing. Apparently it's about a woman who sleeps for a year and what her experience was like. I mean, can I say more? That sounds super interesting already. Really intriguing. That's pretty high on my to be read list. Like, I really want to get to that soon. So now I'm gonna go into some poetry collections really quick. I want to read Now It's Dark by Peter Gizzi, and this is very highly rated on Goodreads. I believe it was suggested to me. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I know talk about it. Oh wait, I'm lying. Oh my god. No, my friend recommended this to me. She said I would love it, and it was super highly rated on Goodreads, so I'm pretty sure I would love it. And the next collection of poetry that I want to read is called Bright Dead Things. I don't really have too much to say about poetry collections. It's just kind of like what the author's musings are for that specific collection and what they're trying to say. So those are two poetry collections that I definitely want to get into. Next up, I have a book that I have literally heard amazing things about, and it is The Midnight Library by Haig. I don't really know what it's about, honestly, but I want to read it. Does this video suck because I'm not saying anything about the books? Like, I'm just saying I want to read them. I'll link every book down below. That way you can read the synopsis of them if one book looks interesting to you. Oh man. And certainly, and last but not least, I have The Death of Varric OG. I've seen this book in Barnes & Noble, and the cover is stunning. And honestly, I'm that person, okay? If your cover looks beautiful to me, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, what's that about? Like, I'm gonna pick it up. And this one, I love the cover. So, The Death of Varric OG. Once again, no idea what it's really about. I apologize. Please don't hate me. Thank you so much for watching all of the books that I want to read in 2021. I'm sure this list will continue to grow. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at EKG Writing, and you can follow me on Goodreads. I'll link my Goodreads down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out if once my video is uploaded, people are watching it and engaging with it right away. Yeah, I appreciate it. I really would love to grow my channel in 2021. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you can stay in the loop of everything. And I really appreciate each and every one of you that watch me. On my first video, I had 15 subscribers, and now I'm almost at 130. So we're going, you know? We're going. Let me know what books you're gonna read in 2021, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
And I was like, yo.